Today I'm going to show you guys how I pulled off this shot using clever camera tricks and simple masking tools in After Effects or any editing software that allows you to mask out your objects. Here you go. See, I had an idea to make a shot where the character is literally trapped in a box. And in this case, the character is me. And the way I did it is actually kind of simple, and it's simple to pull off, but you have to make sure that you shoot the footage correctly. Now, if you notice, the first thing you have to notice is that I am moving very little. Like literally only thing that's moving is my head. I'm just slightly turning my head, okay? And I'm going to explain more why that's the case later. The first step to filming the footage is you have to film the box. So let me take you guys over to this comp to show you. This is what it looked like, me getting the footage of the box. So you have to film the footage of the box first. Why is that? It's because the angle that you film the footage of the box determines the angle that you film your subject. So if you're shooting a straight top down off the box, then you have to film your character straight top down. If you're shooting 45-degree angle, you have to shoot your character 45-degree angle. So that's the first thing. Then you decide if you want your character in the shade or you want your character in the light. And for this, I only used one light and the available light in the hallway. And I'm actually going to show you guys what that looks like, what this set actually looks like. So let me go ahead and scale this back up, 100. Okay, so this is actual set. This is my hallway at home. This is what it looked like. So all I had is just this one light. And then let me see if I can show you guys. Yep, okay, let's see. Good. Right, so all I had is I set the light, aimed it, placed the box, and filmed it just like that, okay? Then once I got the shot of the box, then I decided that I'm actually going to shoot two passes, because I shot a pass of me in shade like this, and I shot a pass of me in the light, and I'll show you guys what that looks like so that you can see it. So in this footage here, you see this is me in shade, and how I did that is I pointed the light, like just the same light that was aiming down, I just pointed it straight up and bounced the light of the ceiling, and then it just kind of created a softer look all around, and my shadow is like not sharp, it's more faded, and then just kept me in the shade, but it's still enough light that you can see me. And then if you do want your character to be in the light, you just aim the light back down like you had it for the box, and then you just have yourself sit in, just like literally, I just did that. Aim it down, in the light, you place the box, okay? You film the box, cool. Then for yourself, you keep the light the same, film yourself. Because why are you doing that is because now if you notice, your shadow is sharper, is darker. So, and that will reflect, is like if you're directly in the sun, your shadow will be sharper. So that's how you would do it. And then also if you notice my hair, I'm more like cut out, you can more, like I'm more pronounced. And that's what would happen if the sun is literally aiming at you. So that's how you film it. So first thing, film the box, that determines the angle. Then you film your subject. You could do like I did, shoot both light and in the shade and decide later, which is what I did. The last part of this, and I highly recommend this if you're trying it for the first time and you're not advanced in doing visual effects. When you film the box, don't do what I did. Let me show you. See what I did here? I'm actually moving the shot. I'm actually literally moving the camera back and forth. I would actually highly recommend to put your camera on the tripod like you did with the subject, the character. So let me go back here, see if I can show you guys. Right, see here, my tripod is right, my phone is right on the tripod, the shot is not moving. You do that for your character, and then you do the same thing for the box. So when you film the box, just leave it locked off so that you don't have to do any 2D or 3D tracking, period. Okay, you don't want to deal with that headache. Maybe later on down the road when you feel more comfortable, you can experiment with moving the shot and then doing tracking. So I'm not gonna cover tracking in this tutorial. There's a lot of tutorials out there for tracking your shots. Maybe in future tutorials I might do it, but not now. So I wanna get to it. So with your footage filmed, you have everything. You decided you want the shade or the light. For me, I went with the shade. So first thing you do is you bring in the footage off the box. You decide which, for me, it was like, okay, I like this take off the box. Put that shot at the bottom and then went over to the shot of me sitting down. And I say, okay, this is the section that I like. So you just trim the footage. Like, all right, these two are the section, they're gonna work. This is probably the most difficult part of this whole thing, is the masking portion. So I'm gonna do this masking very quick and dirty, but I recommend that you take your time and make sure that you cut out all the edges and all the grooves of the character. Just cut it all out, and then, because that will help it look the best. And if you are a more advanced visual effects person, I highly recommend using the roto brush in After Effects. It will just make your job easier and it will go faster. But for the sake of this tutorial and me showing you how you can use it in other programs, I would say use a masking tool. So I'm gonna start with the feet, and I'll just start drawing my mask and just try to follow all the edges as closely as possible. And that is why you don't have your character moving a lot, because otherwise you have to repeat this thing frame after frame after frame, and you do not want to do that. And then if you did it with green screen, like one of the reasons why I don't like using green screen is it just has too much potential problems of it looking fake. Like if you don't key your green screen properly, you have like spills, things look weird. But if you use masking instead, you stand a better chance of your effect looking real. But you have to just be good at masking. So just practice your masking skills. That's the most important thing here. Just get good at masking, learn how to use the roto brush tool if you're using After Effects. Nowadays there's a lot of AI masking tools that will do it for you in different programs. So highly recommend you check that out. But if you don't have any of those and you just have a masking tool in your editing software, then I would say use your masking tool. So just go through, follow all the edges of the clothing. And also, if you notice what I'm wearing, like I think through a lot of these things. I'm like, if I wear black and the background is lighter, it will be easier to see myself and know where all the edges are, so it makes it easier to mask. But if I was wearing white or brown and the floor is also brown and my skin is brown, it would just be a giant blend, and it would be hard for you to figure out where the edges are so that you can mask it. But if you just think through it, see the environment that you have, make sure that it just keep it as clean and plain as simple so that you can mask yourself out without too much hassle, then you'll be good to go. All right, getting to the end of this, like I said, I'm making my masking dirty. When I did this, I spent more time masking, but for the sake of this, quick and dirty. All right, boom, see? You're basically there. Like, you can see it. This is the effect. You're basically there. Once you mask yourself, the next thing you do is you try to place your character, and then you just scale it down. So shrink your character until it just looks and feels right. Like, okay, I think he looks and feels right about here. Now, if you also notice how I filmed this thing is that so let me turn off my mask for a second to show what I'm actually trying to do. See what my shadow is doing on the wall and on the ground? That is so important. Like that, and the reflection, that is so important, because if you shoot it for real, it tells you this is what the shadows look like in real life. So then when you put your person in the box, then right now it kind of looks fake, but once you add all the shadows back, it will pop. So what I did is I took the same footage I have, I duplicated it, and then this bottom layer here, I just rename it as my shadow. And then I delete the mask I have for the main person, then I could see, oh, this is where my shadows are. What I want you to do is actually go ahead and just trace over the shadow on the ground and on the wall. Just trace it, just like this, like I'm doing. Just trace it, okay? Trace, you trace it and like, okay, it ends about there. Go all the way around. Nope, actually, let's not do that, undo. Just trace the shadow, trace the shadow. All right, that's about where the shadow is. Okay, now, you have your reference shadow. Then the next thing you do is you should feather it. So blur it out a bit. It is starting to kind of look, oh wow, there's a shadow there. Okay, now what I want you to do, if your program allows it, that I'm like, man, in After Effects you could just do a lot more, but if your program doesn't allow it, this is the next thing I would do. Like, okay, I will duplicate it because you want the shadow to stand out. You know, blend it, blend it, blend it, and then what I ended up doing is I just added layers and layers and layers and layers of different shadow and just test it out, because your footage will be different from mine, your lighting will be different from mine, your software will be different from mine. My goal here is to just explain the concept of how you actually achieve it. So you shoot the footage, you mask the person out, you place them in there, you mask out the trace of their actual shadow that's in the shot, and then you just go through and blend the shadow as much as you can. One of the things that I did, because I'm in After Effects, is I actually used actual solids. So I used like a brown solid, like this, see? I used the brown solid, and then I did the same thing. I masked it out, and then I blended it. I just blended it using different techniques. Here's my shadows, right? So this is shadow from the actual footage. This is like my foot area. So I needed it to show up more. And then I use different ways to blend. I just keep blending. Here's my next set of shadows, okay? All right, then here's another set of shadows, and more shadow. Like the thing that sells this particular effect is the shadows. So spend the time to blend the shadows. Like then I made the box darker, okay, to help blend myself into it. More shadow, okay? And then myself, boom. Yeah, basically done. And the last thing I did is I threw one more shadow. So that's it, man. You shoot it right, mask yourself, place yourself, and just spend the time to get the shadows dialed in just right according to the footage that you filmed. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. My name is Joseph Mba. I didn't really introduce myself at the beginning of this video, so I'm gonna do it now. My name is Joseph Mba. I'm a filmmaker. I have been a filmmaker for 17 years. I have made movies that's been on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Tubi, Walmart stores, you name it, been there. And my objective is now to build a community online of people who like the stuff I make like this, and who would ultimately go watch my movies when I put them out. So if that sounds like you, great. If you found value in this video, awesome. Please subscribe. I'm gonna do a lot more of these, and just a lot more of like, hey, this is how I actually made my movies. If you wanna know how to make movies, you will know how to make movies from watching my videos. So with that said, if you enjoyed it, subscribe. If not, it's okay, move on. I understand. All right, but if you enjoyed it, I'll see you next time, next video. Peace out.